Oh, wow.
I'm like, I'm dying in this room, man. Like, our vents are freaking huge for this house, but it's like because of how big they are and how they're sectioned, we don't get a
And
lot of
that's
AC in the
older.
room. And I'm like, "Ugh,
Well,
eh."
don't die,
Yeah, I need to
Christina.
die.
That's Chris.
Dear Kara.
I love fucking stuff like that.
I'm like, processing, processing.
And horror.
Ah, look at that.
I love to, like, mess you up every once in a while.
Like, my brain is just fucking fried over fucking everything right now. It's
Everything right now.
trying to
Yeah.
get better. I'm like, ugh, with the kid being sick, I'm just like, I think he was just like a carrier. And then we all
Ah,
got sick and now he's sick. So I'm like, boy, you better not get me sick.
boy, don't play like that.
Yeah, I'm like, no, 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 no. I
Num
just got over what you brought into this house.
Leave it out of the house.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this week, we're gonna review Longlegs. Not sure when it came out, but I feel like it came out in, like, July.
Yeah, it came out this year.
Yeah, July, maybe before that.
Yeah.
Um, Imma read the caption that
Yup. Synopsis.
always gives us, which isn't much because the movie didn't give you much.
Yeah.
Um, Quote, "In pursuit of a serial killer, an FBI agent uncovers a series of occult clues that she must solve to end his terrifying killing spree." Cool. Okay, that gives me nothing.
Yep.
Now, I heard great things.
Okay, TikTok was blowing this movie up of it's so good, it's one of the scariest horror movies. Okay, number 1, not a fucking horror
And people were comparing it to, like, Silence of the Lambs, and I was like, "No, no, 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 no,
movie.
no, no,
No,
no, back up.
do not
What are you
tarnish a
comparing?"
classic.
Yeah, like, are you comparing, like, the camera footage, like, the angles? Because even so, I don't necessarily agree. There were scenes, because like, it's set in, like, the '90s.
Yeah.
So, there were scenes where, like, I could see how they were drawing that, but, like, the whole movie overall, I did not feel that way.
I think it was the whole fact of, like, he knew her, that she was trying to go after him,
Yeah, like,
but
the serial killer knew the, like, FBI agent, like, Agent Harker or Agent Lee,
yeah.
but, like, she's also odd herself,
Yeah, I was like, all sign I don't know. For
like, was
watching
she
it, all signs
clairvoyant?
no, I thought she was autistic.
See, I did too, but, like, I was also like, "Is this giving her some sort of, like, clairvoyance? Because she seemed to, like, know more than, like,
Mhm.
everybody else that was I don't know, I was like,
I think
she
it's
was
the
honed
whole
in no matter what.
yeah, I think it's like she was just able to see it and, like, she knew the signs, and maybe because she was, like, saved in a way, going throughout
Yeah,
like,
because of
this movie, I'm fucking spoiling it because it's bullshit. I
yeah,
hated this movie.
I don't know if it was the hype, like, I enjoyed it, but I left like, "Huh?"
Yeah, and,
Like,
like,
I
they did a
wouldn't
good
watch it.
job hyping it up, like, the
They
neon
got me in
rails
theaters,
yeah, neon
like, they did
rails are
that
like
good of a job.
yeah, like, how they're like, "Oh, her heart rate went up like this, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Ooh, it's gonna be good," and when that scene happened, I'm like,
'Kay. Like,
"Alright."
did Nicolas Cage look scary? Yes. He didn't like, I would not have known that was Nick Cage if
Well, you're
he
not
didn't
much of
tell
a
me.
Nick Cage watcher.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I knew I thought he looked fucking goofy, to be honest. He looked goofy, and he had his goofy little scenes,
The little, like,
and him singing in a car and all that, like, now do I think that he put on a good
show?
actor? Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
Nobody's
did for, like
doubting his acting in this movie,
yeah,
like, I'm not don't come for me, I'm not the biggest Nick Cage fan.
I
Like, I
like Nick Cage.
he
Yeah.
didn't a lot of people love him, and I'm not the biggest fan. I, however, was like, "That was a performance."
It
Like,
was, for
if
sure.
anything, Nick Cage, like and there wasn't, like, that many scenes with him,
Yeah.
and he kind of, like, held the movie by,
Yeah.
like, his weird delivery and shit. Because like, it wasn't even stuff he was saying, it was, like,
Just
the
his
energy he was putting into the camera
demeanor.
was, like, uncomfy. I was like, "No, just
Yeah.
stop, sir."
Yeah.
But, like, what I took from the movie was, like, Nick is, like, essentially, like, he's got this, like, that metal orb, and
Mhm.
then it, like, possesses him to, like, possess other families to,
Yeah,
like,
'cause it's
kill their nine-year-old daughters born on, like, the 14th of, like, each whatever month,
yeah,
like
I kinda do with, like, the series and, like, this whole movie basis is around Satanism. Like,
yeah, in the
in that
occult.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, the occult in that way. And so he's, like, a follower, you know, and, like, he's, like,
Yes.
granted this, like, these little balls that have, like, the power of
They're,
Satan in
like,
it.
inside of a doll, inside of its, like,
Yeah, and so, like, he was a
whatever.
doll maker, like, life-size
Yeah.
doll maker, puts it in, like, their brain, and so and then her mom brings it to the families as, like, a nun, like, "This is a gift, grandma. Like,
Yeah.
you won this or whatever," and then that doll, like, the little orb is what takes over, like, they have to kill the little girl or yeah,
Yeah,
they kill the little
their
girl
child.
and then kill the rest of the family and then themselves.
Yeah, and that's what, like, the FBI are trying to track down, like, they're, like,
Yeah,
linking it together, and,
yeah,
like, I remember when they, like, marked him on, like, their board, it made, like, the occult symbol. I
yep,
was like, "Okay," and then it just kinda, like
spiraled.
I mean, even from the beginning, I was like, "What the fuck is
Yeah.
happening?"
Well, and it's like, okay, I will give them, like, the sounds and the visuals, beautiful.
Yes, they were
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, and I was like and there's I feel like how you and I like to analyze scenes and whatnot, when they did, like, the whole full kind of pan of the room, I'm, like, looking in the background trying to
Looking
find,
everywhere,
like, what's happening, and it didn't come. So I'm like, I can see that as related to, Silence of the Lambs because they had, like,
a
the
lot of that where
killing
you,
type of
like,
scenes. I'm like, "Okay, cool."
think
But for those saying, "It was gruesome, it was gory, it's a horror movie." No, there's
it's not.
barely any gruesome parts.
It's like a psychological thriller because, like, you honestly, like, I can't even after watching the movie and, like, yeah, it's been 2 months, but, like, I can't tell you, like, exactly what happened. Like, part of me is like, "Do I need to watch it again?" But, like, then the other part of me is like, "No." Like,
No.
"Don't worry about it," kind of,
Yeah.
like, "Don't be concerned with yourself, girl." Like, I
Yeah.
I don't know, like, the way that, like, the ending happened with, like, the FBI agent trying to, like, save the little girl, and then
Mhm.
she's, like, hearing demonic voices,
Yeah,
like
like, there's only a few, like, spooky seeds of, like, you know, she's with her mom, finds out what her mom did to, like, save her from being killed,
yes.
and then that's why everything's kinda leading back around, and she's the one that's finding everything out, but the one where she was at her mom's house,
Yes.
and, like, the door opened and, like, the figure's kinda standing there, I'm like, "Okay, that was
Oh,
cool."
that was spooky. I
Figure
could have
kinda,
more
like,
of
was
that.
just staring, like,
Yeah.
the hooded figure, I'm like, "Okay,
And
creepy." Yeah, but, like, nothing happened. Like, that's what really, like, pissed me off this whole movie. I'm like, "This is just kinda stupid." The only, like, exciting part is when he's slamming his face into the fucking table and killing
right.
himself, you know? I was like,
That was great. I was like, "Oh,
"There that was
okay.
good visual effects."
That was fun." Yeah. I loved it. FX was great on that,
Oh,
but, like
and when mom got the shotgun and killed the other agent in the car point blank, I was like, "Oh!"
boom! Like, there
Like,
were
those are
gory
the only 2 scenes that really stuck out to me.
yeah, but, like, that's what I'm saying, like, I don't even think I could categorize it as, like, a horror movie,
It's not,
it just
it's not.
I okay, get this, so I told you we were watching, like, Quiet Place, like, day
Mhm.
1 or whatever, like, the
I need to finish
original.
it. Yeah.
I was more jump scared in that movie than I was in Longlegs. Like,
Yeah.
there were multiple scenes in Quiet Place, like, day 1 where I was like, "Whoa!" Like, didn't see
Yeah.
that coming. And they're monsters, like the
Oh,
aliens, you
yeah.
see them way more up close and a lot of
Yeah.
them, and I was like, "Aliens."
And
Um,
I hate that, like, some people they're I like, when this was bigger and it was out, people are like, "Oh, if you didn't like it, you just didn't get it, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that's the thing is I don't like movies that make me fucking think like that. What's the
see,
goddamn point?" And I
I
hated the whole plot of,
do.
like, "Oh, it's about Satan," and I'm like, "Fucking what about Satan?"
Yeah, like, I like movies that make me think, where they've already drawn most
Yes.
conclusions for you, and then you have, like, "Okay, it could be XYZ. Maybe I should go back and, like, watch it again." Or, like, maybe I missed something because like, something's not fitting, but this was, like, nothing fit. Like, it just felt very, like,
Thrown
thrown
out
together.
there, and I didn't realize the director, that's the dude from fucking Legally Blonde. He's in Legally Blonde.
Really?
That quiet guy,
Hmm,
look him up. You'll know exactly who I'm talking about, but that's the director.
that's odd.
Yeah, maybe I
Oh
just don't like those. Yeah, I think I don't
I
like
do I love, like, psychological thriller type
this
movies
is
or that make me but this is one I was like both Chris and I, like those movies, and we were like, "What the fuck?" when we left
we
the
were like,
theater. I for, like, the first couple days, I was like, "I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it," and then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, "No, the fuck I didn't."
"No."
I don't think I enjoyed that as much as I'm letting on.
I like when you say, "Oh, yeah, I liked it," and then when Jacob, because my husband actually, Jacob, he actually came with,
Yeah.
and when we got into the car, like, we were silent walking to the car, and we get in the car, and he's like, "Remind me if you ever wanna watch a movie like this, don't invite me." I was like, "Yep, yep." And then we had that conversation on the way home, and I was like, "No, I get it.
I got
Oh,
it.
shit."
Well, I went with D, right? And
Yeah.
he hates scary movies. He was
Yeah.
at the end, he was like, "I don't even think that was that scary." I was like, "Exactly. Exactly."
I remember you texted me, like, "I liked it," and then we watched it, and I was like, "You're a fucking liar."
Yeah, you're like, "You liar." And that's why I was like, the more I, like, sat on it though, the more I was like, "I don't know." And that's why I'm like, "Does it deserve a rewatch from me?" And then, like, kinda like, "Nah, there's other stuff I could watch." Or
Right, like, I think the next one from Neon, Cuckoo, that looks good.
Yes.
That
Well,
looks
and you should
good.
finish, A Quiet Place Day 1 because I bet you'll love it because you and I
Oh,
both
yeah.
like really good aliens, and it was
Of
done really well.
I was
Although
waiting for Alien Romulus.
this is a total side note, A Quiet Place Day 1, the entire movie is about a girl going to get a piece of pizza, and I've never related to something harder in my entire damn fucking
She's like,
life.
"Bitch, I'm dying. I want my New York pizza."
She's like, I want a piece of pizza." Like, I don't even give a shit. Just get me to the slice of pizza. I don't give a fuck about the aliens. None of it. Pizza. And I kept, like, teasing about it throughout the movie, but then it would get, like, serious
Yeah.
intense, and then, I would be back to, like, "Oh, she's back on her pizza rant." But it was well done, and I like the aliens, so you should let me
Yeah,
know when you finish
I
it.
will. I'll watch it this weekend.
Yes.
I need to watch Alien Romulus this weekend anyway, because like, I am in a, monster mood. So, I
Yes.
was saying, like, what did I watch after Longlegs? I put something on. I think I put on a classic. I think I put on, like, Friday the 13th or something. I'm like, "This is how." It's like, I'll go back and watch fucking Hannibal, like, next week.
Yes, something else. So if you were to rate it, like, out of 5 spookies, 0
0.
spooky?
Dude, 0. I really hated this movie.
I'd
I
give it, like, a
did.
1.
No, it gets
I'd
0
say,
for me.
like,
I
if
will
you're
give it a
bored
3. I will give it a 3. Not the movie itself, but Nicolas Cage. I thought he did well for the role that he was put in and
yes,
how he did it and
I
how
agree.
they did make him look creepy, and, like, he played that part great for
His
him, but the
body
movie
movement is
overall, hated it. Yeah.
fucking weird.
Like,
Yeah.
where he didn't have long legs. Where's his long legs? That's what I was waiting for. I wanted to see him just, like, fucking grow and turn into, like, a fucking monster thing. I was
No.
waiting for it.
While we're on our rant, we got another one this
This
episode.
is a rant episode. Fuck
This is
these
a
guys.
rant episode with spoilers always.
Yes.
Last year we read where'd they
Two
go?
girls kinda murder.
And it's not just one book, it's a series.
3, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And we read these back to back, like, we could not put them down.
could not.
They were
Loved
so
them.
good.
And it's even, like, categorized on Goodreads as, like, a young adult novel.
Is there really it is.
She's in high school, like, I can see it. So, like, y'all may have seen it on Netflix, okay? We read this last year, at least last
Yeah.
year. And then we bought the books because we loved them. Like,
Yeah.
we loved them.
Mhm.
It's by Holly Jackson, and then she wrote some, like, standalones as well off,
Yeah.
like, the
Like
Girl
5 for
Scouts.
5 or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I was really excited after we read the books because it's, like, about this girl, Pippa, and she's got to do, like she's, like, obsessed with this murder-suicide from her
Mhm.
very small town because like, she went to school with some of these people even though they were older than her, and,
Yeah.
like, she starts to, like, dig into it with, like, the deceased brother and becomes,
Mhm.
like, really close friends with him, and it turns into a school project where she starts a
Podcast.
podcast, like
And then which turns global.
yeah, it turns global. So it's almost like if you were to listen to like, "I'm trying to figure out this cold case" type of podcast, that's what she's giving.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool during the book because then she's got, like, people coming after her and you, like, don't know who the killer is, and, like, they Holly Jackson takes you for a ride in that
Yeah,
novel,
like, I
like,
I was second guessing, like, who I thought the killer was, everything, like, she did such a
everything.
good job.
I was guessing, like, 'cause what was Andy? I was
Yeah.
thinking it was Andy's dad at one point. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was Robbie, like, her friend
Uh-huh.
at one point. Like, I was like, there are so many, like, who it could have been. Um, and it's like, I don't know, she just it was a great book. I loved
Yeah.
it. We saw that it was coming to Netflix, and we were both like, "Fuck
Well,
yeah."
it's like how the book series goes too. It's like, okay, you figure out everything in the beginning, but how she writes the next 2 books, it still ties in and it's relevant
Yes.
to the first book and
They
how it goes. So it flows.
They
It's
all
fantastic.
tie together, like, you
Mhm.
have to read it's a trilogy.
Trilogy.
Like, you cannot, like you can't just read, like, like, one book and be like, "Okay." Well, I mean, I guess you could, but, like, I wouldn't. I'm
Why
like,
do
I
that to
gotta
yourself?
yeah, I that's yourself.
But yeah, then they turned it and we saw that it was coming on Netflix. Super excited about it. We both saved it on our Netflix of like, let me know when it's here.
And they let me know,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Um, I don't know if Holly Jackson did she sign off on this? Did you sign off on this, girl? Did you
Yeah.
read the script? Like,
Where's the podcast? Where's the
I get it.
podcast?
Like, okay, but, like, that's such a part of the books. Like, that
Yeah.
is a huge portion of the books, and they just skipped that in the
Like,
Netflix
how
show.
is it a good girl's guide to murder when that is literally the title of the podcast?
And they do say she's doing it for, like, a school project, but, like, they missed so
So
many
much.
important things, and, like, I was like, "Why is there only 8 episodes?" Because like, when I first looked, I was like, "There's no way
No.
they're gonna be able to give us everything in these shorter" because they weren't even an hour. They were, like, 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way we're gonna get all the information we need," and I tried watching it. I was like, "I can't do it." I couldn't even finish the first episode.
I think I texted you, I'm like, "I'm 15 minutes in and I wanna shut it off."
Mhm, and I was upset by that. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted, because I like when they do a show or a movie off of books. I'm like, "How does that compare to, like, my, like, imagination?" And,
Yeah,
like, how
'cause
I
we're good about separating the 2. It's like
Yes,
books is what we know of shows, movies, they are gonna be different because of
they can
creative
take their
liberty.
liberties.
That's totally fine, but
This
we
was
go so far off track. It's like this is what is it? How people compare it to like LaCroix, where it's just like a hint of flavor. That's like
a hint of the
is
storyline.
a hint of the plot.
Yeah.
This is the
I
LaCroix.
and I know, like other people had the same feeling too, like, I
Mhm.
couldn't even start it, like, or I
Yeah,
started it, I couldn't and, like, I was committed, like, I
I
tried 3
tried.
different times, and then I finally sat down and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, "What?
Yeah, I think
What?"
I got to episode 5 because like, I just let it play while I was working. So,
It did pick
honestly
up in the last 3 episodes, it felt like they tried to just, like, cram everything at the end, and I was like, "Why? You had
I
so many."
I could not tell you exactly what happened. I remember fully watching the first episode, but then I don't really remember anything else because
I
I was
kinda
more focused on work because it was just not.
I pushed a lot of it out of my brain because I was like, "Don't ruin the book for me."
Yeah.
Like, really. So if you guys watch the Netflix show and have never read the books, go read the books. You will be very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
It'll exceed your expectations after watching.
Yes.
I mean, the
Yeah.
books themselves, like, it's not smutty, they're not, like, horror books, so it's, like,
It's
not our
very
typical
YA.
cover. Yeah, like, it's young adult, like, thriller mystery, and, like, there's a bit of, like, love romance in there because it's young
Yeah.
adult, but it just when we because we loved it, so when we watched it on Netflix, I was literally like, "No,
No. Yeah.
what happened?" So, not our typical cover for, like, the type of book.
Yeah.
However, if you watched the show and you disliked it, I would very much encourage you
Yeah.
to read the books because they were fabulous.
Mhm.
Everything I've read by Holly Jackson so far has been really well done, so that's our rant about the Netflix version of that because
Mhm.
it was not it. Like, I'm not no writer or director, but I could have probably helped there. Y
Right?
I
Because
would
like,
have been
you
like, "None of
know
this these first 2 episodes aren't even really needed. You need, like, 5 minutes from each episode, and then we should add in a bunch of actual pertinent information."
yeah,
Like,
it just makes me wonder if, like, did Holly Jackson just, like, really want this done? And, like, did they give her any liberties? Or is it
yeah,
one of those, like, was it just a cash grab? Like, "Hey, more power to you."
yeah.
So, so it's just one of those things of if it was just a
The
money
show's
grab,
like a
cool,
0
but,
out of
like
5 for me. I wouldn't recommend it. The books? Easily a 4 out of 5, especially considering it's a young adult novel, like, and we're full ass grown adults, like,
yeah.
I know you love Twilight and, like, we love Harry Potter, like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's still, like, a young adult book.
There's still fun in a YA book as long as it is written like, actually written well, things
Yes.
like that, it's like I still love reading those,
Yes, so
but
do I.
it's just
Like, make it
when it turns
right
into
for the
something like this, and
show.
it's, like, not even, like, pertinent,
Yeah.
and it felt like they just tried too hard and completely missed it.
Yep, and, like, I didn't even have I guess, in my mind, I didn't think that they were from the UK.
Oh, I know, I was gonna say the same thing, like, when I was reading it, totally kept forgetting they're in the UK.
Yeah, so, like, that I was able to move on from. It
Yeah.
was the plot, like, the
Yeah.
missing plot and, like, subplots going
Mhm.
on, like, they even rushed, like, her and Ravi's relationship, like, really it was, like, really choppy in the show, and, like, in the book, it was, like, a lot of, like, back and forth because of the situation, because
Yeah.
she's investigating his brother's suicide, which is not so, like, there is a lot of, like, maybe I shouldn't be with this guy if I'm, like, diving into this podcast, but, like, also he's helping me, and,
Yeah.
like, it was more about their, like, getting, like, a love connection in the show, I felt like, where
Oh, yeah, because it's
in the
Netflix,
book,
and
there
that's
was a
all we're
lot of,
gonna do
like,
it.
back and forth between both of them because they were more focused on the killer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was a healthy, growing type of relationship in the book,
Yes.
like, it just kinda happened because he didn't even wanna help in the first place. He's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, like, just stop, just leave my
I don't
family
wanna
alone
yeah,
with
just,
the
like,
things
leave
you
it
do."
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
She's like,
don't be like,
He did not kill Andy. I'm gonna die on this hill."
"I will die on this hill." He did not Sal did not kill her, and he did not kill himself, and you know what? Ravi and Pippa were right, okay? We will tell you that, and I
Yep.
was when I found out who did it,
Yeah.
and then she leaves you in a spot where you literally need to go get the second book.
I think we did. We were like, "Alright, go find it."
Yes, I was like, "Oh my goodness."
I
So, the
need to
book's
continue reading.
fabulous, would suggest.
Yeah,
So,
Netflix, no, don't no.
yeah, so this was kind of a rant review between Longlegs and Good Girls Guide to Murder
Are you
Netflix
ready though? 'Cause
version.
I don't know if you saw it today.
What?
Imma bum you out real bad right now. Are you ready? Because you mentioned Harry Potter. The day that we're recording this is the day I found out, or I should say today, Dame Maggie Smith died
Oh, no.
at 87, 87, 89.
Bless her soul.
Yeah. Like, you
That's a
mentioned Harry
lovely
Potter.
long life.
I know. It's like you mentioned Harry Potter. I was like,
I know,
Professor McGonagall
I
died
saw that
today.
face and I was like, "What's going on?"
And I was like, I'm super sad.
That
I
makes sense
love
now.
Maggie Smith.
Rip.
RIP. Long
Had a
to Maggie Smith,
long,
dude.
great life, though.
She fucking did. You know, she's been in some really great movies, and I wanna say I don't think she's been in has she been in any more? I don't think so. That's not her jam. She's more like the period pieces and whatnot, and of course, Harry Potter. So, but speaking of, like, YA, like,
Yeah, speaking of YA,
and it's about that time where I start rewatching Harry Potter again.
everybody,
Current
about
current this
that
season.
about that time.
About that time. Oh my god, and speaking of, they're making a Harry Potter TV series?
I saw that and I was like, let's not.
Like, at this point, now it's like, I mean, it's
If it ain't
been
broke, don't fix it.
yeah, but it's been a cash grab because of how
Yeah,
big it
for a
got.
while.
But I was like, "Why do we need a TV series?" I wanna know what it's about. 'Cause it should I don't know if it's gonna be full on about Harry Potter. We already been there,
No, I
done
think
that.
it's supposed to be like a spinoff of sorts, right? Like, I
I'm
don't think
perfectly
it's
fine.
yeah, no, I same, like, I'm like, "Okay." I hope it's more like
Fantastic Beasts.
yeah, like, I hope it's more, like, dark.
Yeah.
Like like, I like the dark magic, right? When, like, they get older and
Give me
things
more of those Death Eaters. Have you seen those at Universal? Have you seen those TikToks?
yo, I ended up on that TikTok page the other day, and I was liking every video. I was like, "Please come back to my feed."
Yes, please.
But yeah, and then I, like, saw the search bar was, "What is Death Eater talk?" Like, like, when you go to the comments and it, like, shows you the most popular search, and I was like, "Ah, you're on it, people.
You're
Like,
on it, bitch. Like, just keep scrolling.
just keep going, man."
Welcome to
Love that it
Madhouse, baby.
curates our feed for masks and monsters, and
Yes.
I've been getting all of, like, the official, like, Scream and, like, the official Jason and, like, Freddy and, like, the official It's, they've all been, like, dancing, doing that,
Yeah.
like where they, like, copy the dance and they, like,
Yep.
get closer to each other, and then one of them runs with I have been loving those, like, it's just so fun, like,
Yeah.
it's so fun, and, like, the fact that we're adults dressing up in costumes to dance for the internet is also,
Yep.
like our generation is so unserious, it's fantastic,
I
like,
love it.
I do too, I'm not mad about it, I would rather
Nope.
see that than some, like, negative shit, you know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
god.
Like, it's either puppies or masked men, like, pick one. Don't do both. R I know, very opposite things, but
We need a masked man with a which I bet there is.
yes. And then so speaking of, like, monsters and such, we did have a request to do the Souls trilogy to
Yeah.
review, and it took that's my fault, I will take blame for this. It took my ass a little bit to read them.
I read these quick.
I read the first one, and then I took, like, a
Mhm.
solid break between the
Oh,
second
yeah.
one, and I was kind of like, about the first one, like, I thought it was good, but I was like,
And that
"There's
one
gotta
there's a
be more
spoiler.
to" yeah, like, we'll get into it, but,
Yeah.
I did it, I finished them, I ended up buying the books, I liked them that much. So we'll be back to review that, and then we'll have, like, an episode just on, like, Rob Zombie, because I'm gonna have to go watch House of a Thousand Corpses before this
Yeah.
episode because I've never seen it.
Now it's one of my favorites.
Don't come at me, but I've never seen it. And my fiance has been really excited to watch it with me. And tonight we don't have our kiddo. So
Perfect.
hopefully we could just record this tomorrow
Yes.
after to watch it. And then we will also be back on Halloween. We're
Yeah,
just
the
gonna
same
do
time.
horror icons.
Yeah, horror icons is a fun Halloween episode.
Some ghost stories and like how we celebrate our Halloween because I know Christina celebrates a little bit differently, and
Yep.
I tend to take some things from her each Halloween. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this year too. So
Yep.
we will be back and have a happy Thursday or Friday or whatever day you're watching this
Happy
on.
I'm gonna try and combine it, but my brain. Whenever this comes out, Thursday or Friday, that's gonna be my new saying since I'm the one that like edits and posts it, and
It could
we've
be
been having a
any
lot of
day.
shit. So it's like, you know what? Thursday, Friday, that's typically when these will get posted.
And if you have, like, a book you want us to review, whether it's horror or a horror movie or a smutty book or even, like, fantasy,
Yeah.
we'll review it,
Mhm.
like, so comment, like, go follow us. You can listen anywhere your ears can absorb podcasts. We have been throwing up old episodes on TikTok to kind of
Yeah.
gain some traction, so you can even watch older episodes back there.
Yeah.
That's my friendly plug. I feel like a
A
commercial
friendly plug.
ad and whatever.
Follow us. We're fun.
Well, have a great weekend. Sunkist.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to see more from us, you can find us on Instagram at the Midnight Babes Podcast and on TikTok at the Midnight Babes. Stay spooky, friends.